Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's Barbecue Joints, and this one's really special. It's with Lupe Nevarez from LaVaca Barbecue in Port Lavaca, Texas. If you don't know where Port Lavaca is, it's nestled between Corpus Christi and Houston. It's on the coast. It's also southeast of San Antonio. During this interview, we don't go deep into the backstory of he or his wife Christine or his daughter Kelly, who's a pitmaster. All three of them own the restaurant because that's been done. It's done by Texas Monthly. People have interviewed them. We wanted to talk about the here and the now because, number one, they're opening a second location in Victoria, which is about 25 miles northwest of where they are. Talks all about the building. It's really cool. It's like a tire store and a pawn shop. They're going to be opening up a trailer there probably in September that they'll be serving food out of as they finish out the construction, which will probably run them into next year. But that's going to be a great location. But one of the big reasons why I wanted to talk to him was he did a barbecue joint pit tour of their entire restaurant, of the pits that they build. And he just came off as such a genuine, hardworking guy, creative, go-getter. The menu sounded incredible. They're a Texas Monthly Top 50 restaurant, but he also said that you can't rest on your laurels. And I really wanted to expand on that and learn more about that. And throughout this interview, he goes back to his employees and how important they are and all the different things he does for them because they're family to him. And one thing to really prove that, I've been texting back and forth with him for a number of weeks. He sent me videos, and I'll have them at the very end of this on the YouTube side, of his employees talking and introducing themselves and saying what they do with the business. And it's wonderful and genuine. And you'll be amazed too by the menu. If you didn't know the menu, you'll be surprised. There's so many different options, so many different things that they serve, unique things that are completely unique to his restaurant. So I can't thank Lupe enough for taking the time, for being so sincere. He's a really great guy. And I know the LaVaca Barbecue will be on your list of places to visit when you visit Texas. I have a website at kevinsbbqjoints.com. But at the end, stay safe and visit your local barbecue joint. Good morning, Lupe. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so nice to finally speak to you in person. And that tour that you gave was just fantastic. I'll put a link below to that for people to see. But I and a lot of people know your backstory. Could we go into it just a little bit really quickly?
Yes,
and then you have a lot going on. So I want to jump to that so that we can talk about that because I think people will be really excited to hear that. So how did you guys get started?
We started years ago. We were a competition team, and I mean, we weren't the best, but we were learning. And so we were competing across Texas, and of course that didn't pay the bills. And we thought, one day Christine was teaching in near Houston, driving about an hour drive, and she kept talking about wanting to retire. So I told her, I said, maybe we could start doing something. And I said, I'll get you a food truck. And you can start selling baked potatoes. If you can sell 9 baked potatoes a day or 10 baked potatoes a day, that's all it'll take. And with that, it'll supplement your early retirement. So we got to looking, and it was a joke. And then it got bigger. And then at one time when we were doing cook-offs, a lot of my thing was barbecue pits. So you went to a cook-off, not so much for the cook-off, but more for like a car show to take your pit.
Yeah.
So we had made a cool stainless steel pit. And we were doing that. And I thought, well, how do you did? I think Daniel Vaughn came out with, or they came out on Texas Monthly with the story about the 1,000-gallon smokers. Mm-hmm. And I thought, man, it'd be nice to build a 1,000-gallon smoker, but you can't take it to a cook-off. What do you do with it? And then we thought, hey, maybe we can open up a restaurant. So in my mind, it was restaurant, 1,000-gallon smoker. So we started hunting. We found the restaurant, the building to make the restaurant, and we talked about it. And we thought, hey, we're going to go forward. At the same time, it was my opportunity to start building my new 1,000-gallon smoker.
And is that the location that you're at right now?
Yes, this is the location we're at now. It was an old gas station, and we did. You've seen the walkthrough before, but we do all our own remodels except what's permitted. I mean, electrical and so plumbing.
I wanted to ask, because some people have asked me after they've watched the walkthrough, why do you love doors so much? Because I love that you read that you
the
take
old doors.
things,
Yes,
yeah, you take things.
I mean, it's just I
love it,
and especially in Texas. I don't know how it is in California, but over here you've got your boutiques, and you've got everybody's walking around in shorts and boots, and so that country boutique feel, old shiplap, old doors. So I was looking for something that we could incorporate that with. I mean, the board behind us is actually with shiplap around it, or little chalkboard. Yeah. But the old doors, and it's cheap. It's something you can just take a screw gun, put it up against a piece of plywood, and all of a sudden it's a
Yes,
cool thing,
it's art.
and it saves a lot of money.
Yeah, no, it's really cool, and I can describe it to the end of the earth, but I'll put a link below because people can see it. But you have doors in places that people wouldn't expect, but you also have those old doors with the sound, like the little
Yeah.
like the little general stores. It's just
Yes, our
beautiful.
screen doors in the front. I went all the way down to South Texas and bought them off a marketplace, and we paid like $300, but they still have the 5 and dime signs. I think they got camel the cigarette things on it when kids could go in and buy cigarettes for their parents.
Isn't that
But
funny?
we put a double spring on them because we want them to pop. So when people come in, some of them get startled. And when we were doing our tea machine, a young man came in and did it, and the door popped, and he just got started. Said, "When's the last time you heard that sound?" He looked at me like, "What are you talking about?" It's like nobody's. I mean, if you weren't back in time, you never, Grandma had the hydraulic shock on the storm door. They never had screen doors. They weren't old enough to experience that.
But just like taste and smell, sounds will register a memory that's visceral and wonderful, and that's what you're bringing. It's an homage to something, even if not everyone recognizes it. There's a group of people that do recognize that, and that's wonderful. Can you talk about the location and it's Port LaVaca? Where is it situated for people for their mind's eye?
Port LaVaca, we are halfway between Corpus and Houston on the coast. So if you find Corpus, Houston, 50 miles or 30 miles off the coast, you'll have Victoria, which is going to be the next bigger town. And we just happen to be right off of that, right next to the water.
So how far would you say you are from Houston?
From Houston, we're from Port LaVaca, from Houston, we're probably 2-hour drive. Corpus, maybe hour and a half or so, hour and a quarter.
Do people, is that somewhere where people go for vacations? Is that a vacation spot?
From here to there, or from over there to here?
Or from Port LaVaca, would that be somewhere that's, would someone go there? Or is there...
Actually, it's sort of weird because we're almost like a wagon hub. We get people from Houston to coming over. We get them from Katy. The other day, we had somebody that would live right behind the street or close to Texas Chocolate. And they were friends with them, and they come here to Puerto Conner to fish. So we get people from, Corpus, San Antonio. So it's like we're the hub, and there's all those people are coming in from that area. So on a regular basis on the weekends now, of course, because of the exposure of Texas Monthly and now Eater.
With Kelly's video, that's fantastic, and we'll get into that. But is that so? Is it a place where is there lodging for people? Say someone wanted to come to make a weekend out of it, or
there is. I mean, you got you can rent houses, or a lot of people. It's weird because they'll come in from San Antonio and they're all from the same little fishing village or so, where they've bought condos or something. Huh. So you get the feeling that maybe somebody was hustling somebody at the mall and going, "Hey, if you go down to Puerto Conner or Magnolia Beach, you can get a great deal." And they all bought at the same time, and now they're friends and they all show up at the same time. They've been out here for years.
That is kind of neat. That's great. Yeah. And then so it's you, Christine, and Kelly, they're the owners, correct?
Yes, all three of us.
Christine's your wife. Kelly is your daughter.
Christine's my wife. Kelly is our daughter. She was a 2-year teacher, and she's the one who, when I had to go back to work after COVID, or after when COVID hit, she took over the pits, and we trained her, and she took care of everything.
Yeah. How does she like that?
She loves it. The other day we had a conversation, and she said, "I finally found something that I'm good at and I love to do."
How great is that?
So it's cool. And everybody participates. I mean, she's going to be leaving for Florida next week. I'm going to have to get back in the pit. So it's my time to take some Instagram pictures because I haven't done that in a while cooking. Christine actually does all our direct heat. So we've got a smaller smoker that we had showed that we turned into a grill. So we're doing chicken, we're doing burgers, we're doing, all of that, over coals. And she does that, in the mornings.
Yeah, I'd like to talk. And I'd like to talk about your all the specials, because you have a very unique menu. You have the quote unquote Central Texas style menu, but you also have a lot of different unique things. But if for people who watch the video, or who hopefully will watch the video after this, the pits were built by you.
Yes. So the pits, I had showed a little bit on your video. They'll go back and watch that. But the pits, it's a little bit different than, I'm a designer by trade. So I've got 30 years experience in structural steel design, do piping, we do foundation. So in my mind, I always have to draw it before we do it. And that's why the remodels are the way they are. I've changed the design on the pits to where the firebox actually sits a little bit higher. And we use 100% of the pit right up to the edge. I mean, not to say that others don't, but I mean, for us, it works. And it was an easy build. So eventually we'll, hopefully, if we can get caught up, maybe we'll start manufacturing some pits.
Because you kind of hinted at that in the video, and you've talked off camera. We've talked a little bit about that. That would be,
and you talk about being creative and always looking for something that's different, using the doors, using tin. I'm sitting here on some old booths that we bought that are probably 70 years old, but it's when you can't afford to buy it, you have to make it, or you have to get a good deal on Marketplace. The other day, I want, I mean, not that we're going to do it, but I want to at least make my own whole hog, maybe for an employee party or something. Who knows? You never know down the road. But I wanted to make a cooker, but I wanted it to be cool. And so I wanted the base for one with saving a bunch of money. So I've been watching Marketplace. I actually found a dumpster in Houston, and it's almost 6 foot wide. It's 42 inches, and it's extra tall. Never been used. It was a prototype for a nozzle spray thing for insecticide, and $4,000 smoker. I mean, now fixing to be a smoker, but $4,000 dumpster. No scratches on it. Bought it for $500. So I've got it at home. Wow. We just got to cut it down. Now, most of your hog cookers aren't double wall insulated. They're single wall. And we're going to take this and do a double wall insulated completely, and do the rotator for the hogs, and the lid that hopefully opens up different than everybody else's. But it's just another toy to build.
Yeah. And it's like, my mind's thinking now, like, you should document that someday. Let's not necessarily show it before, but at least for your own.
I already put it on my Instagram story. It's kind of cool.
I didn't see it yet, but okay. Well, that's
it's maybe even one of the reels or something.
Okay, well, I know it's a link, so I'll put a link below to all your social media. That's really cool. And so are you welding you're welding yourself?
I weld I mean, I have a buddy who helps me too when we've got stuff we need to hold, but I do all part. I can weld the hell out of carbon steel. When it gets to stainless, I'm not a good stainless welder. So yeah, I've got one pit that we took to Troubadour, and I don't know if I sent you pictures, but it's our stainless one, and it's carbon inside, stainless outside. We use that for competition, and I traded that. I have a old welder from work that retired, and he came in and we traded services. We made him a carbon steel pit, and he helped me weld my stainless one. That's so yeah, I mean, you've got to trade. You got
and there's guys that can do that are like, that have barbecue joints, that cook, and that are marketing, but also to make pits. I think Reed Guess, I think he does, and makes his own pits too, which is amazing.
Yeah, and at work, I mean, at the plant, I'm blessed to be able to have got auctions to help out for kids during Christmas time. And I picked up a Lincoln 250 diesel welder, and I brought it home. And Raymond, the guy who retired, had just retired. And the cool story is, we're at the house, and I told him, I said, there's an issue with the welder. I mean, can you look at it? And he came back and he was teary-eyed. I'm like, dang, I hope it wasn't that bad. And I just bought the thing. And at the bottom of the welder, it was marked in marker, and it said Raymond De La Rosa, his name, and the year. It was his welder when he first started working at the plant. So here he is, 40-something years later, retires. What's the chances of him being at my house, retired, welding, and his welder that I had just bought from the same place at the same place? So he got emotional.
That is magical. That is, see, I love, that's what I love about life. And I love these little like things that seem to be happenstance, but that happened for a reason. It's just there's no way that
it's behind the scenes stuff that people never talk about.
I love that. No, that's really neat. And so you named a welder. I'll put that welder below. So if I ever get into welding, I will call you. I have your number, but I think I probably need to, maybe I'll come down and take a private class someday with you before I just start doing it in my own garage, because I think it's
so maybe one day we can, like I said, my goal is to, and we've got this, and we'll be talking about Victoria, but after that gets started, maybe when I do get to leave the plant, it'll be to where we will supplement that with maybe pits. I did run across, I mean, I'm always looking for domain names. You know how important that is with social media.
Yeah, I do.
So I did purchase Texas brisketsmokers.com. So I thought, for a big 1,000-gallon, that'd be a cool name.
That's a great name.
Never know down the road if we ever use it. But
yeah, no, and you're just like me. I have a bunch of domain names for all these grand ideas, because I think that that's what life's all about too, is ideas and having things that you're excited about, that you're very excited about. So before we jump to Victoria, I want to so it's Thursday. You guys are open Thursday through Sunday, correct?
Thursday through Sunday. So Thursday we open up from 11 to 2 for a lunch crowd. Friday we open up from 11 to 8 because we've added our Fiesta Friday in the evenings.
Yeah.
And then see, Saturday today we're open to 6:30, 11 to 6:30, and on Sundays it's 11 to 2.
11 to 2.
Typically nobody opens up on Saturday, on Sundays, you know, in the area, and gives families an opportunity. And one thing that we do on Sundays is across the board. I mean, all you got to do is tell us that you've attended church, and we give your whole ticket's 10% off.
Oh, that's
we
nice.
give you 10% discount. All you got to say is you've attended church.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I had an old teacher that came in and sat in here at the very beginning when we opened, and we offered that from the very beginning. And she goes, Lupe, how are you going to know if they're telling the truth? And I put my finger up in the air and I go, if you want some bad juju going home, just lie about going to church. Yeah, and we don't have people that
and that kind of goes to with your slogan, right? What's your credo, your motto for your restaurant?
Jesus, Texas brisket.
Yeah,
that's our sign up front. Of course, a lot of times people come and go, oh, you're Jesus. I go, no, that's Jesus.
That's so funny.
That's why Daniel Vaughn's first tweet was, you'll find Jesus down the road at LaVaca barbecue.
I love that. Yes, that was so.
We talked to him, and we made our T-shirt and put his information in the back, his quote.
So Fiesta Fridays.
So Fiesta Fridays, how that all came about is we had opened up in Bay City because we had a Bay City location that is officially closed. Bay City, I guess how I'm going to end it is there's some towns that don't have a Cadillac dealership. And there's reasons for it. And Bay City's not one to have a Cadillac dealership.
Good way to say it.
So we ended up opening up Fiesta Fridays as a supplemental income to replace that income over there. And it's great. So we brought in our more of our Mexican influence. So we wanted something that was as unique as our smoked tamale, something different that nobody's doing. So I played with some, and we love blue corn with the tortillas and things. So I found a way of doing blue corn pizza and actually getting it to rise. And looks just like blue corn tortilla, but it's a pizza. So on Friday evenings, I have a uni pizza oven in the back and a little area set up, and we make our pizzas in huaraches. So huarache being a flat, almost like a flat bread, like a tostada. And usually it's like a street food in Mexico, but we actually do it in a pizza oven. So it's about probably the width of a full half tray.
Wow.
So a quarter tray.
And you can get that with anything you want on it, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. We do, we'll do any meats. We'll do nopales, the cactus, cilantro, onions. We'll top it with the lime. And the pizza the same way. You can get the pizza with, the pizza is a little different because you wouldn't expect, just to be a pizza. So we were almost tied in the old Italian way where you get the onion, the peeled tomatoes, whole tomatoes, Italian tomatoes, and we crush them with a glove and put a little spices in it. And we put some of our barbecue sauce in it. So you don't want it to just be, barbecue paste out of a can. So you do have that Italian flair with a little bit of barbecue to it. And it's just real thin for flavor. But yeah, they're great.
Yeah. How are people, how is that turning out? Do people love those? Yeah,
they're loving. I mean, we did several last night and people like, wow. And it's just like, them being the blue corn. So we had a pizza oven at the house, we still do over a fireplace. So we had a little bit of the background of making pizzas and things. And I thought, it's almost like social media. So I jumped into a forum from like Italy, and there's people from all over the world that were on that forum. I put my picture of the logo with the pizza. I thought, hey, this would be great for some international, notoriety. So I put it out there. And all of a sudden they start going, show the recipe, show the recipe, show the recipe. It's like, I get this backed out and then go back.
That's funny how people are. With the nopales, do you have that available on the menu all the time, or is that just for the Fridays?
That's just Friday evenings.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's Friday evenings.
Okay.
Because we're right now being short of staff. If it's when we get really, really busy, it's in the next room over, and it'd be, you have to have somebody walking and back and forth and giving the order and somebody cooking over there. So it makes it tough. So Friday evenings I'm available. Yeah. So I come in and help them, and that's my job.
But with the nopales with the cactus, like, is that something that is just for the pizzas, or do you have that on the menu in general? Is that something, because that's so unique?
No, we usually, the nopales are they go on. I mean, you can have them on the pizza, but we usually do it on the huarache.
Okay.
Sometimes we get somebody come in like last night and they go, "Hey, I want the pizza, but I want it all the way." So okay, which is usually your red onions and your stuff, and they go, "No, I want the nopales and I want the cilantro." So it's like you can get the huarache with on a pizza or the huarache. So and huarache being sando in Spanish, because it's flat and wide.
And is it Lupe or Lupe?
It's Lupe.
Lupe. Okay. Lupe.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Or Lupe. Yeah. Lupe or Lupe. Depends.
Okay. I just want to pronounce. I want to pronounce it correctly.
Most of the when Hispanics walk in, they'll go Lupe.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I pronounce it Lupe, but then you said Lupe,
Yeah.
and I wanted to make sure I was pronouncing it.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, but with the back to the pizza, what we wanted to do is we wanted to bring something different. So when you look across the board for Texas barbecue, which you've got all nationalities being represented, and I thought, man, nobody's really doing Italian. But how do you go Italian? I thought it'd be cool to do some Italian because nobody's doing it, but I don't want to just go full blown Italian. I mean, you just want to jump out. Now you're doing American, Tex-Mex, and now Italian. So we tied the pizza back in with the blue corn, and tied it back in and called it a Mexican pizza.
That's great. Do you have tamales every day?
We still have the smoked tamales, yes.
Can you get them in half dozen? Is that how people are doing?
The tamale is in a plate. You can get it, 2 tamales in a side. I think it's like $12, but they're like quarter pound a piece. So the funny thing is when you get people that come in and they go, especially if they're Hispanic, they go, "I want a dozen tamales," and go, "Okay, it's $80," and they look at you like $80, but it's 3 pounds of meat.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought.
A dozen tamales will fill a full aluminum pan, full buffet pan.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, it's different. It's not like it's not specific. And then let's go to dessert, and then I want to talk about Victoria. So so you sent me some photos of, and I've seen your desserts online. Can you talk about your desserts?
Yes. So desserts, we started out, we've got our banana pudding, and we've got our cakes, and we've got all of the things that we had started with. But we wanted a program, a dessert program like others have. But honestly, I mean, we're a small mom and pop place. I can't afford $40,000-$50,000 to pay for a pastry chef. So we have a family friend, Jennifer, and she's with Simple Sweets and Guns. She started her own business after she started with us. But we hired her, and she started making desserts for us and making cheesecakes, and they're awesome. And I told her, I said, "You should quit your job one day." And she goes, "No, I don't think I'll be able to." So it got popular enough, and that she was able to quit her job. But she still, she makes her cheesecakes here, but we make an awesome cheesecake that we've worked together to come up with. And it's a smoked cheesecake in the smoker. So they smoke it in the smoker. Then it's topped with our pork belly that's rendered down in our beef tallow. Oh. So it's little crumbles, and that goes on top of our mac and cheese, but it goes on top of that. And then we top that off with a bourbon maple syrup. So when you tell people, "Oh, do you want to try this?" It's a, cheesecake, when they go, "I don't think so." It's like, meat on top of a cheesecake. But when you go to taste it, it's almost like the texture of maybe a candied pecan. It's really it's a great flavor. So we took 4,000 samples to Troubadour in Georgetown, and people really, really, really enjoyed it. We had Mark Champion here from Pearland came and took some photos for Coke the other day for Coca-Cola.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And Jennifer was here, and Juan, her husband, and he said from Troubadour, that was the best bite I had of everything I tried.
Well, it makes sense because of the saltiness and the savoriness. Because I know every city probably has it, but I know in Los Angeles there's a place that has, I think it's maple donuts with bacon crumbles on it, and so it does balance. It makes a lot of sense. And then you tie in the top of it gets a little brownish color from the smoke. On the cheesecake. So you tie all that together, and it's an awesome bite. It's our signature cheesecake, and Jennifer is going to start working on a smoke series for us. So I think there's that's cool.
Habanero. There's a Chipotle habanero one I think that's coming up that she's working on right now, smoking it and then topping it. So giving us a series of just smoked cheesecakes.
I love that. And I'm trying to highlight desserts more too, because I know everything, all the meats on the sides, everything gets highlighted by everyone. But I think that's a neat thing.
And Kevin, there's a lot of times that businesses, barbecue places will hire a pit guy. And there's enough business in the area, they'll go, "I'll tell you what, you're my pit guy. You've been here 3 or 4 years. good luck. You have my blessing. As long as you're far away from me or, 100 miles or whatever, I'm going to help you open up your own place. And we see that all the time. For us, we want to do the same thing, but we can't do it with Kelly's doing the cooking and we, where we're at. But with desserts, we're not in the business of producing cheesecakes and just making a living off of cheesecakes.
Yeah.
So my thing was helping her out. So she is our employee. She cooks for us, but we said, hey, on your spare time, make extras, sell what you can. So it was well enough that she was selling so many and she gave herself a name for her business. So she's got a name, just like I've got a name for my barbecue pits and I haven't started selling them yet. And health department contacted, said, we watch you and we see that she is cooking out of your kitchen. But since she's got a name now, she's official. She needs to be. So within a couple of days, they got all the paperwork done. They came and did an inspection. She's got her own cooler. So she's got her side legally business out of our business.
That's nice.
So even though she works for us, her side hustle is covered because she's legal at our place.
That's great.
So we're not charging her. I mean, it's like we want her to do as great as we can, do the best you can.
And that says a lot about the way that you guys run your business.
Yeah. That's when you help somebody without expecting something back.
Yeah.
And in turn, it helps us. We get people coming in. Sometimes they'll say, come get a piece of cheesecake and buy some brisket. And they do. They'll come in and they'll pass the butcher block and they'll come back as the now needs brisket. But it's kind of cool. We help each other out. And
that's
she's
really
going to
nice.
be going. They're going, being an employee, they're going to go along with us to the festivals, troubadour festivals. And we'll talk about it a little bit, but we're also going to Monterrey, Mexico, October 1st, and we're taking them with us.
What's that? What's October 1st?
Luis Rivas invited us to Monterey to his big festival over there, Barbecue Fest.
Yeah,
that's October 1st in Monterey, Mexico.
Okay, because I think I remember seeing Abe Delgado from the I Crush Barbecue show. That I think I've seen him promoted too.
Yeah, Abe's in California, but
yeah,
this is actually going to be in Monterey, Mexico. And the funny thing about it, I was visited with him yesterday about what we need to do is it still doesn't jive to me that we're taking our smoked tamale back to Mexico, where nobody's ever seen it. Barely here. We were the first ones to do something like that, and now you're taking a tamale back to the homeland, back to Mexico, and see, tell them, showing them a different way of making a tamale,
which is nice. It's like a blending. It's like, it's like a circle. That's a strange circle. Yeah. How far away is Monterey, Mexico?
Golly, I'm not sure. I mean, I know it's probably maybe an hour and a half from the border, maybe.
Okay, so is that something that you would
we're gonna fly in?
Oh, you're flying?
Yeah, we'll fly in.
Okay, wow, that's
we'll probably go in. We're probably going to go in maybe 4 or 5 days early and
that'll be fun.
Check out some of the other barbecue places.
Wow.
So I know there's some other barbecue places over there that have Texas style barbecue. So we'll make the rounds. It's the bigger city. It's where your doctors.
I keep hearing about it, so maybe that's interesting. Yeah. That's kind of funny. So what's happening in Victoria?
So Victoria, we were looking for a location over there, but we wanted something off a main road. So the main road that comes to Victoria is called Navarro. It's a 4-lane road, and the mall's at one end, and you go all the way down to the other. And the thing about it is everything is so expensive nowadays. If you want to buy some commercial property off a main road, especially there, so they're tearing down older restaurants. They're tearing down car washes to build other stuff. And so when they're buying it for 400, 500,000, 600,000, and then they're building another restaurant. So they're tearing down to build. And we were fortunate enough to find a location over there that was 3/4 of an acre. Was a tire shop, a big tire shop with multiple buildings, 6,000 square foot of buildings. Right next to it is an 1,800 square foot pawn shop, 3/4 of an acre, all on a corner. And originally that place started for, I think it was 700 something thousand or more. There were some houses, 2 houses involved with it. And then it got lower and lower and lower, and they cut it back. And so at the end, it was the big building and then the pawn shop next to it, right in the corner, all concrete, great location. And we ended up picking that place up for it was at one time it was a little over 400. They needed to get rid of it. They told us we have through a friend that knew them, said they've got to get rid of it.
Okay.
So we made them just a real crazy offer. It was, you can't even buy houses that cheap here, anymore. And so we offered them like $268,000. And the realtor came back and said, no. People want to buy it to tear it down. But when we checked with the person that knew the family, it was like, no, it's not that.
Yeah.
So we ended up, long story short, by the time it was all over with, we ended up picking up the location for $306,000.
Okay.
And so not bad for a big commercial building. So when we saw it, and you walk in, so it's a big tire shop. You have Discount Tires is a big place in Victoria, and there's two of those. You can't compete with them. You can't compete with Walmart. So the mom and pop tire shops now, it's tough to make it.
For sure.
So right across the street is a huge mechanic shop, and they repair buses and that kind of stuff. So you couldn't come in and open up a mechanic shop across an existing mechanic shop. So it sat there. Nobody wanted to do anything with it. There was nothing to do with it. So when I saw it, it's like, wow, this is a barbecue place.
Yeah.
We've got a almost a 27 by 75 front bay area that they had added with garage doors. And I figured, man, that's my seating area.
Yeah.
And then you walk in through 3 more bays. And then that's the old gas station part of it, old tire shop part. And I said, well, that's the kitchen and serving. And I'm like, wow, this is really nice. And then when I walked to the back, there was a tire storage area. And that's probably, I want to say maybe almost a 40 by 40 area.
Wow.
And it's real tall, and the concrete's almost old. And I thought, I mean, a great place for putting about 3 smokers in there, 3,000 gallon.
Yeah.
And I looked to my left, and I call it the little creepy room. So there's this area that's like 27 foot square, and it's double height, 2-story. And you walk in, and it's just tire racks welded up. We've got to cut them out to get them out, if you can't get them out to the door. But they're just solid all the way to the top. And when I saw that, and there's a side street right behind that, I thought that's where my food distributor drops off his product. We've got walk-in coolers. Kelly can actually prep her briskets and things in this room. It's a cold room. And from here, she walks straight into the pit. So then on the other side of the building, we walk over, and there's a little lean-to covered up with like metal. So like, but there's like hurricane fence all the way around it. And it's like, this is weird. Did they hide people in here or what? But what it was is actually where they stored their old tires, and they didn't want anybody coming in to steal old tires. So they put sheet metal around the outside of it, like a barn.
Yeah.
But there's hurricane fence inside with gates. And I thought, how cool. You move all that, and now you've got wood storage.
Yeah.
So we've got a huge wood storage, or we've got room to actually put smokers even outside in that little lean-to area.
Oh my gosh.
So a great location, but to come into Victoria, it was going to cost another bunch of money. I don't know, $40,000-$50,000 to be able to get a great, I mean, not a great, but it would be great if you spend that much money, but a septic system. You need it now. It's not just the receptor that goes underneath your sink. They want a big one installed, 1,000-gallon plus in the ground.
Oh.
And we didn't want to do that. We were going to take the pawn shop and get it ready to sell out of while we remodeled the big building. But we didn't want to spend that kind of money for the pawn shop. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. So fast forward, we got with the city, found a different way of doing it. So the front area is going to be a lot like we have here in this building. It's going to be open air. It's going to have big ass fans like we have here. And right in front of it, we purchased a 24-foot trailer that we're going to serve out of. But we don't like to cook out of the trailer. I mean, we won't be cooking out of the trailer. We didn't want something to be dirty. We want it to be super clean. Yeah. So it's pure white and stainless inside. The only thing that's actually heated is the steam table, and it's basically a glorified trailer serving line. So we'll take products from here, 30-minute drive, load them in the warmers, park right in front. They can buy from the trailer and actually eat inside the building. On the back side of the building, we can still work on remodeling with our permitting while we're serving the front. And that's about 25 minutes from here.
Okay. And that's, a lot of people that have multiple locations will have a hub, like a place that they're cooking out of, and then they'll be bringing to a couple different locations.
Yeah, I mean, right now we get a lot of people from Victoria traveling over here to eat, in the evenings and stuff. And a lot of really loyal customers. One of them brought us a new Texas flag to hang over there. The other one gave me a embroidered apron. I mean, they're not just supporting the barbecue; they're actually supporting the business.
What is Victoria like?
Victoria is so we're 12,000 people here. I think Victoria's pushing 70,000.
Oh wow!
And then you've got surrounding smaller towns. There's Cuero and Goliad, surrounding other towns around it, and together that's the hub of where everybody comes to shop. And I want to guess that you're probably pushing 100,000 possibility with all the surrounding towns. It's a big difference.
That's definitely so. When will you be serving out of the trailer?
Right now, the trailer, I visited the trailer. I'll get it inspected 2 weeks from now, not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, and it'll be ready to go. I've got we're working on the building over there now, and we're getting it painted and getting restrooms together. And there's right now there's small issues like you've got the exit sign to be able to get out, but they wanted a light on the outside in case there's no power in the hotel and you're buying barbecue and you're in the dark. You can actually stand outside the doorway through the emergency light. Things like that, but it's all safety issues that we need to take care of.
So would you say August, September?
I'd say August, probably September.
September.
We've got a few more festivals and stuff. So the other thing too, since it's going to be open air and it's right now it's so hot, y'all are having blackouts over. We're 103, 104 degrees the other day.
And you guys have humidity.
So we're in no hurry to put people in a hot box right now.
Yeah. So will people be at in your mind's eye? So people will be getting from the trailer, eating inside that area, but then the remodel, will you be remodeling that area too?
Yeah, so behind the front section of that wall, we've got the rest of it. So once we get our permit in and I get the design drawn up, because I got to do all the plans first and submit them to the city, then we'll start putting up walls and doing that kind of stuff on the on the weekends on the back.
How far off do you think that part will be? Early next year, probably, or?
Man, we'll have to see. We'll see how Victoria turns out. The thing about it is we're doing all of this out of our pocket. Of course, we all know the economy is not the best right now, and we've been approached by a couple of people that have said, "Hey, how would you like to be a partner?" We've gotten this far. Everything we're doing pretty much is for Kelly down the road. I mean, it's
that's what you want to do.
It's going to be her business.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that when she goes forward, she's got 100% of it, not 50% of it.
No,
so we'd rather go
try your best to do that. Yeah, I agree. That's smart.
Invest into it. And a lot of time, when you're doing deals and you're great deals, you go in the marketplace and you buy indoors and decorating with that kind of stuff, it really cuts the cost down.
Yeah.
I wish we could just throw 50 contractors in it and get it done like a lot of places, but a lot of those places are typically there's a money guy or the business owner, the building owner is cutting a deal with.
It adds a lot of stress too, a different type of stress.
Because you not only have to cover your part of it, but you also have to cover your investors.
Yeah, and you want to be your own person. You want to control your destiny with what you're doing, and that's really exciting. So you'll keep both locations open, right? You'll have both.
Yes, in Victoria, we're going to do something different. As soon as I get my permit and it says, okay, you can open up already, because we want one thing at a time with the city. Once that's done, then the next thing we're going to do is I've already talked to them about doing a pit room right up front. And we're not going to be smoking briskets there, but we'll be doing direct heat. So we'll have a direct heat, coals underneath. We'll do burgers, we'll do chicken halves, anything that we can cook underneath, 2-3 hours. Hour and a half. Chicken is about an hour.
Yeah.
So you got the drippings, you've got the sop, you've got the smell and the smoke right there by the pit. So that's the next step.
Yeah. So do you think it'll be a Thursday through Sunday thing?
Over there, we're probably going to start because of my work schedule still. We're going to probably start Friday evenings. So we'll probably do Friday evenings into night, and then Saturday lunch till we either sell out or in the evening, and then Sunday the same way.
And then kind of expand it as time goes on.
Over there to start with.
And then as time goes by, you kind of adjust things.
And we'll adjust here as we need to.
Okay. And that's something too that we kind of touched on a little bit is you still have your other job. It's something that this isn't everyone looks at so you made the Texas Monthly list. It's a big deal, but it also, you've had to have your other job because you want to keep everything going and moving forward.
Exactly.
And it's
one of the things Daniel had said at one time during one of the interviews, and it's like, just because you make Texas Monthly top 50, it's not a guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have your local support.
Yeah. And
you've got to make sure you've got, basically for us, we have to have a great product and customer service. So our local plants here are great, for caterings and meetings, and they'll come and do that here. And so we've got a lot of that support, and of course our local customers too. But if you didn't have that, you can't just depend on the banner hanging outside going on the top 50 restaurant.
No, definitely. And then, are you hiring for that location? If someone's watching this,
we're always hiring. It's really tough to find employees right now.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of the issues of what we're having. We have Bay City. When we had Bay City open, actually we're paying our Bay City employees to drive an hour over here. So they get their salary, their hourly wage, and they get a car allowance per day. So we pay them their hour, and we give them $40 for the day for them to drive their car from there to here, and just to have the extra employees. And luckily for them, Jamin, his children that work for us, they're homeschooled, so they're able to help during the week.
Oh wow!
So that's a blessing. So we hiring homeschool kids. Family. I mean, if it wasn't for that, we'd be in a bind.
You had sent me the other day. You had sent me some videos of your employees, and is that something that you're going to be posting, or is that something that I can include maybe at the end?
Oh, you can include. I mean,
because
I did it so
that.
much. I did it not so much for to post it, but when we had this conversation, I wanted you to personally see them and hear them. So it's almost I wanted to be like you're here and you're shaking their hand.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So who they are and what they do and their personality a little bit.
And that's what that's the reason. The main reason I love the food. I love the food so much, but I love the people, and I love people that care about people and that want them. You want all your employees to flourish. You want them all to thrive and have
and just like we're hopefully Jennifer one day can say, hey, I'm going to sell you cheesecakes now. And I've got my own big business. That's what we're hoping. But the other thing we do for employees that nobody really talks about is feeding them. We've been to some conferences before with the food companies. And they go, oh, no. We don't give our employees food. We'll give them a discount. We'll let them eat. They can eat anything for lunch they want out of the warmer, except beef ribs, because they're so expensive. And there's there's not very many of them. But if they want brisket for lunch, they could actually eat twice their salary, their hourly salary, in just a lunch. And it gets to the point that they don't want to eat barbecue anymore. I mean, so we let them eat anything they want. If they haven't eaten and they want to take something home, they can take it home. If it's a Sunday and we've closed down and we have leftovers, we split it up and they take the leftovers home.
It's a family.
It is. And then when we hire them, we tell them, we give you, if it's your birthday, they get celebrated. They get a basket and they get a cake. Everybody sings to them. If it's Valentine's, Christine goes and buys everything for them. I mean, so all holidays are celebrated with them. Their birthdays are all celebrated because you appreciate what they do for you.
Mm-hmm.
You treat them like family.
That's so great. Can we do a quick run through of your menu just so people know what you have? It's in the video, it's in the walkthrough, and you can see photos of the menu. And I'll have at the very end of this, if people are watching on YouTube side, I'll have tons of photos, because I love to have that, and also in the montage because I think the people love that. Can you just go over really quick so people in their head,
we've got the traditional brisket, ribs, sausage, and we've got pork belly. We smoke our pork belly. We also have on Fridays we've got our beef skirt fajitas. We've got our tamale that's smoked 100% in the smoker. So that's really unique. We also have, we just started doing pork shank. So pork shank is almost like, I'm calling it the dino pork shank. So it's the shank from the leg of the pig, and we smoke it, and you can shred it off the bone. You can eat it off the bone. It's with a mango pico de gallo, and then with some blue corn tortillas, so you can make your own tacos at the table. So trying to bring something different, something that's a little bit more cost effective. We do have we've added chicken to the menu as well. As far as proteins, I believe that's it.
Sausage? Did you mention
we
sausage?
We do sausage. Yes, we have our Central Texas, and we've got some that's got the cheese and the Serrano in it. And we make our own sausage here also as well.
And then sides-wise?
The sides, we've got our jalapeno cream corn. We've got, yes, and we've got we make our own macaroni and cheese with 3 different blends of cheese, and then we top it with our crumbled or crispy pork belly. So we've got a brisket bean, which it's our family recipe for charro bean. And then throughout the day, we put our brisket trimmings in instead of throwing them in the trash. And it'll chunks of fat and little chunks of meat, and they simmer throughout the day. Just gives it a great flavor. So we've got a mango habanero coleslaw instead of regular coleslaw, because that paired really well. We developed it for our tacos, and it just stayed as our coleslaw now. But we've got our blue belly taco, which is a blue corn tortilla with pork belly slices in it, smoked, and then with the mango habanero. So it's a great bite on top of that.
That sounds.
Being by Port LaVaca by the water, we wanted something that was seafood without being seafood. So we from the beginning we came out with a barbecue gumbo. So it's all our barbecue meats that are left over. We use for that also, and basically it's got the same flavor as a gumbo, but without the seafood.
That's genius. That's so smart.
Yeah, and then on Fridays, now that we're started doing the fajitas and tostadas and stuff like that with our barbecue meats, we also added rice and beans to the menu. Okay. So for a long time, people were going, you know, I said, no, we're not going to sell rice and beans, but people ask for it. You gotta accommodate people.
You have to be.
And of course, we have our sandwiches and tacos that we make. Sandwiches, of course, you've got your sliced or your chopped, and with all the other meats and the combinations. You know, panzon is about that tall. So the panzon sandwich has a layer of pulled pork, and it's got brisket, and it's got sausage on top. And when I was cutting at the beginning, before I went back to work, is there would be like 15 workers in line from the plant. And you're making, everybody wants the panzon. So and the panzon in Spanish is a fat guy. You know, you can rub your stomach and say, so I would say, how many panzons? And I look down, and it would always be the Hispanic guy. He's got his hand on his belly, and he's rubbing his belly like, yeah, I'm one, make me one. So I'd start laying and making a bunch of them out at the same time.
And I noticed behind you, I think I could see that pork belly is sold out. How quickly do you sell out meats?
Pork belly goes pretty quick. The first thing that always sells is the mac and cheese.
Okay.
People love the mac and cheese, and it's the fastest thing to go.
Okay. And
potato salad, of course you put it in the cooler. Even beans. If you had, if you had a big pot of beans, you could cool them and heat them. But when you've got your mac and cheese, you can't do that with mac and cheese. So
for sure.
We make what we gauge what we're going to need, and first come, first serve.
Yeah. Okay. But if someone came in at a certain time, can they get pretty much the entire menu?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
You always work on that. That's important in your head.
Yes. No. Okay. And a lot of people, unfortunately, we're in the middle of nowheres out by the coast. So, you're 12,000 people. So, we visited earlier. If we wanted to, it's like, you could sell out, but then, in our location, it's not the best thing for us. You want to make sure you have as much meat, protein, the more you sell, the more money you make.
Yeah. And the people are making their way out to see.
Yeah, there's for us here, it's just, it's the way it works out. I got 2,000 gallon smokers.
Yeah.
For 12,000 people in town. So we could do,
you could make it
50
work.
briskets.
Definitely.
But you have to judge. We don't want any leftovers. So you have to judge. We do have a little bit left over. It goes into our tamale. It goes into our gumbo. So that's where those extra meats go into.
That makes sense. That's great. So I definitely want to visit when I am able to, when things are okay with my mom. I want to be able to get on the road. And I know that your location has been something I've been looking at for so long, and you are such a wonderful person, and Christine seems so wonderful, and Kelly, and it just seems like you've created such a great atmosphere and something unique. It's something unique. There's a lot of barbecue joints out there, but even you stand out as a unique place because you put so much love into what you're doing, and it definitely comes through. And I hope that I hope people can understand that and how much you care about what you're doing. It's something special. You're doing something special. Okay. Yeah,
and like I said, it's more than for me and for the family, because it's more than just the barbecue. It's the build. Kelly will get upset. I've teased her, on purpose. Like, hey, I think in Victoria, I'm going to get some wrap to make some signs. And she's looking at me like, she does all our chalkboards, and she does the menus. And it's like, it's an insult if you're going to get somebody else. And I do it on purpose just to gig her. But we'll get home and we'll sit around and we're talking about what the building's going to look like. We're talking about, the pit, or we're talking, even now that Christine is doing the grilling, she, doing the direct heat, she runs all the business. So she's doing the books. She's taking care of the house. She's taking care of all the finances. She comes in, she takes care of inventory. She buys everything when she gets the inventory list from that boy. So she does probably, over 50% of the work that we don't have to do.
Yeah. And now which helps so much. That helps.
So the other day, I got one of the Franklin PK grills because I have an old one, but I got the green one because it matches our logo. So I hadn't used it yet, and when I'm at the house, and I said, well, I bought that, right? And she says, what? She goes, we're going to try it out because the color in it, it's a Franklin. I said, no, it's because now that you're grilling at the restaurant, when I come home from work, maybe you could throw some steaks or something.
That's so funny. That's great. It's
I
and
was like joking around with him.
no, it seems like you have a really good heart, and I'm really excited, and we've sent messages back and forth, and you've always shared so much, and that shows. Like when you start sharing a lot, I can tell how proud you are of your business, and how proud.
And the other thing that we hadn't talked about a little bit is employees. Is we like to say we grow our own, almost like teachers would grow their own from an A to taking their going to school. But for instance, Hunter, a young boy, the young gentleman now that works for us, and he started with us right out of high school when we first opened, and he's been with us all along. Great employee.
Wow.
But he helps Kelly all the time, and right now officially we've made him. He's training for Run the Pit, and so I mean, usually that's been a family thing, and so we think of him as family. You'll see one of our employees, Kyler, he's been with us the same amount of time. He's fixing to go to UT. So his sister came last year and helped us. We give away about 600 free meals a year. This year we just did it again. So his sister came and volunteered and to help us out to give free food away. And then he's fixing to go to college. In fact, he's answering the phone right now. He's fixing to go to college at UT. So his job is being rolled over to his sister.
Oh.
So we're training her right now, and she's a great employee. So now it's in the family.
Wow.
So
Totally.
this year, 4th of July, we gave away 500 meals. There's another little kid here, and he's 15. And I'm like, is that your little brother? She goes, yeah. And I said, hey, so you're going to be a next employee? He shakes his head. So you're not only hiring people off the street, you're hiring a family.
Yeah, it's continuous. That's
three siblings. Hopefully we'll have 3 siblings next year.
That's amazing. Now, so what festivals, before I forget, where can people see you at? What festivals coming up?
The next one that we're going to is going to be the Troubadour in Tyler.
What's the date of that? Do you remember?
Oh gosh, I think it's September something
like that. Yeah, I'll put a look.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then October 1st we go. After that we go to Monterey.
Yeah.
And the other thing too that's kind of cool besides festivals is so Juan, the husband of our Cheesecake lady, knows a guy that does MMA. He started promoting MMA fights.
Okay.
So we're the sole food providers for these fights. So we went to a local one. There was 1,000 people here. So it's kind of cool that you're at this fight and you're actually watching the fight. And so we're doing that one. We're fixing to go to Victoria next, in I think in a few weeks, within a month. And there's 2,000 people we're going to feed there. And then the next one after that, we're going to Galveston, almost to Houston, and we're feeding 3,000 people there.
So again,
we're the sole provider and helping each other out.
I've never been to an MMA.
Nothing's expected. Yeah, but it's kind of cool to watch the fights. And,
that's fun.
So I mean, it's a hustle. I mean, right now you've got
scrappy.
A hustle with the economy. It's a hustle.
Yeah, it is.
It's a fight every day. I mean, like I said, it'd be nice that, but it's tough.
That's kind of like that. That's actually kind of a great way to end this. Like with the MMA, like it is.
Oh, yeah.
It is a fight. Like but it's not a physical fight. You're fighting to stay alive in the best sense. Like you're doing as many things as you can to provide food for whatever occasion, whatever thing. Yeah, that's is there anything that we did miss at all? Is there anything that
No, I think we've covered everything. It's
you have a lot going on, huh? How do you?
A lot going on. I mean, we could talk for 2 hours.
How do you is that the kind of person that seems like the kind of person you are? You like a lot going on, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, so think about it. Here you are in the middle of a pandemic. Things aren't the best. The economy's crazy. You go off and you just want to make your business as great as possible. You go down to Bay City, you buy a location over there. That guy doesn't turn out. So, we reinvest that into buy a place in Victoria. So hopefully we talk about, you're almost like a cockroach. You have a nuclear explosion, and you're still crawling out of it.
Yeah.
You've gone through slow times, pandemics, economy, recession, and when you come out at the end, hopefully everything will be set up already for a booming economy.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's my goal: have Victoria ready to go, have everything in place, and at that time. So right now, as you're investing and you're putting everything, everything's tighter because you're in not only in one location, you're cashing out a second location. And we'll end up selling Bay City, take that funds and then reinvest those back into Victoria. So
Victoria seems like it makes a lot of sense. It does. And I love what I've seen, a little bit of footage, and then also too the just how you've described it. That sounds so cool. So is a pawn shop going to be? What's a pawn shop going to be?
So the pawn shop, and you'll see in the video that the pawn shop's next to it. Originally, I was going to make it into something like we have here, but the pawn shop now, and looking at it, we've got the main building, and next to it you got the pawn shop, and there's like 27 foot between it, and they closed that driveway. The city wouldn't let me use that drive, so it's dead space. So instantly, I'm looking at what do I need to do for sewage system or for drainage or for restrooms. You want nice restrooms, and you're going to have to cut a lot of concrete, and it's going to be odd to add restrooms to that facility. And then it hit me one day, if I tie both buildings together with not only a breezeway, but actually a entry foyer way, so you can open up doors from both locations, from both sides of the wall. You can go to the right, go to the pawn shop, and have right there in the driveways, actually where you can dig and you can do all your commodes and your sinks, and just tie the sewer back in without having to cut concrete. And then that gives you a great entry. It gives you a safe place for kids and family to use the restroom. The front of the pawn shop will be a location for baked goods, vacuum packed meats. It'll be a retail store for merchandise. On the backside of that will be office space or maybe a small apartment. And then we don't have to worry about restrooms, and we don't have to worry about that merchandise over in the main building.
That's so smart. That's great.
Everything will be tied together.
How exciting. Gosh, that's an exciting for Victoria. And if someone's watching this that lives in Victoria or nearby, they have an idea of what's coming, and that's exciting. That's really exciting.
So we're talking 6,000, 7,800 square foot of floor space to play with. So right now my mind's just like, I can't sleep because I'm thinking, okay, what does it need to look like? I mean, which way do we want to go? What's the interior? So even with that design of that building, it's an old gas station with pipes and electrical and all kinds of weird stuff hanging on the walls. And I'm looking at so much floor space. In my mind, I'm thinking, if I come in with 2 trailer loads of wood, I start putting 2x4s in 1 foot away from the wall, insulate the back of that, and just abandon in place everything that's there, and just create new walls inside the walls and drop ceilings. And it's quick and
definitely. But also too, like if someone knows of places with doors, they can email you or text you.
Mark, I'm in a lot of people at sketchy places picking up doors at roadside parks, at the outside. So I'd watch Marketplace and go, hey, you have your doors still for sale? Yeah, they're $25 a piece. I'll buy them all. Buy $200 worth of doors. So now what I'm looking for is the old tin that come off the barns.
Okay. And
usually that's going for like $1 a foot. And if I can find it cheaper and somebody's got, maybe 40, 50 sheets,
that's funny.
We may just, spend $1,000, and that's a lot of wall covering. When we start comparing that, but we don't know if we want to go to that rustic, format or not, but.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Lupe, for taking the time. This has been so eye-opening, so wonderful.
Hi, I'm Kelly from LaVaca Barbecue. I'm the owner and pitmaster here. It's a hot-ass day outside, but we're working it, and we can't wait for y'all to come try our barbecue.
These are the briskets that we're working on right now. They're getting nice and dark in there, as you can see. They're getting ready to fix them to get wrapped. My name's Hunter. I'm learning how to cook here at LaVaca Barbecue. You can follow me at SliceOfCaz on Instagram. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sonia, and right now what I'm making is some blue corn tortillas. We make brisket tacos out of them. Whatever kind of meat you want, we make the blue corn tortillas in the mornings, or put them out in the warmer.
I made it at Guayo, and I've been working here for 2 years now, just turned 2 years. And right now we're setting up for Fiesta Fridays. We do pizza, blue corn tortilla pizzas. We do huaraches, stuff more of the Mexican type. You wouldn't see at a regular barbecue restaurant. And yep, we're just setting up for that right now.
My name is Mma Nevarez. I've been at LaVaca Barbecue since the beginning. I am the kitchen manager, and I also make most of the sides. And the cream corn, the jalapeno cream corn is one of them.
Hi, I'm Tegan. I've been working at LaVaca Barbecue for 2 months. I do dishes and help in the front. My brother's been working here for about a bit over a year, and I'm following in his footsteps working here now.
I'm Kyler. I've been working here for about 2 years. I mostly help out in the front with register, with customers, and yeah, that's about it.
Hi, my name is Jennifer. I've been with LaVaca Barbecue for about 8 months now, and I do their in-house cheesecakes. We've done the smoked pork belly with maple syrup on top. Coming out with a couple other smoked cheesecakes for the restaurant as well in the near future.
Hi, I'm Jamin Speed. I've been working here at LaVaca Barbecue about a year and a half, and I'm pretty much a jack of all trades and hold this whole place together.
So we're gonna make 2 runs today because I'm still learning the pit. So I'm a little shorter, so I need my little handy cane here to close the doors. And because this is just a test run, we will have limited chicken today. But starting Thursday, we will make sure that we have plenty for the lunch rush.
I'm Caleb Fortner. I fight MMA here in Port Lavaca, Texas. Y'all need to make sure you come on down here to LaVaca Barbecue and get some of this badass brisket. It'll knock you out.
4, 3, 2, are you
right here in front of them. With the little one. Right here. Pues aquí.
Mira nomás.
There we go.
I like it.